Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Today we're learning gradient intercept form. It's just another way that we can write linear equations. Now the good thing about this is not only does it allow us a quick way to graph functions, it also allows us a quick way to find the equation of a graph that we already have. Now gradient intercept form is this. It's in the form y equals mx plus b. Okay, so that's gradient intercept form. So what's special about this form is if you have it in this form, y equals something times x plus something, the thing in front of x, m, which is the coefficient of x, m is the gradient. And we know what that means. It's the rise over the run, how quickly the y value is changing, how steep the line is. That's what that value indicates. Now the b value, so the value that's not attached to the x, is the y-intercept. And the y-intercept, as you may recall, is the point where the line hits the y-axis. So let's have a further look at this. So let's look at the graph that we've just put on the screen. So as you can see, the arrow from B pointing to the y-intercept. So the y-intercept of this particular blue line is 1. Now, m, the gradient, I'm not going to go through too much because we've done it to death. So m here, rise over the run, so the run is 1, we go 1 across, and we go up 3. So without having to do any complicated maths, the equation of that line that has just been given is y equals 2, because the gradient here, rise over run was 2, y equals 2 times x, plus the y-intercept, which is 1. Now you can see that this equation here is in the form y equals mx plus b, y equals something times x plus something. So again, the number in front of x, the coefficient of x, is the gradient, as you saw here, to the left, and the other number by itself is the y-intercept. So without doing any complicated maths, I found the equation of this line. Alright, let's do another example. Okay, so the question that we might ask is, what is the equation of a line, just like we just did? So, let's look at the line we just put up there. So, first thing we need to do is find the gradient, because we know our answer is going to be y equals mx plus b, m is the gradient, and b is the y-intercept. So what we need to do is find m, find b. So m, the gradient, rise over run. So we've got a point here and a point here. So the rise is 1 and the run is 1, 2, 3. So m equals rise over run. B, the y-intercept, we can just read off. We know that it goes through, it hits the y-axis at y equals 4. So b will be 4. So the gradient of this line here is y equals a third x plus 4. Again, nice and easy. Now, important to remember that if the line leans to the right, as it does in this case, then this number in front of x should be positive. If it leans to the left, then that number will be negative. For example, look at the line that I've drawn in red. So it leans to the left, so we know it's going to have a negative gradient. So we do the exact same process to find its equation. So now I'm going to find the equation of the line in red. So remember, I know that it's going to be y equals mx plus b, where m is the gradient and b is the y-intercept. So the gradient here, if we look at the 2 points that it goes through, you'll see that it goes down 2 and across 2. So the run is 2, but because it goes down, we say that the rise is negative 2. The negative means it's going down. We've already done this before. So the gradient here is actually negative 2 divided by 2, which is negative 1. The y-intercept, again, we can just read off that. That's positive. It's 2 in this case. B is 2. So we found m, we found b. Easy. The equation of this line is y equals negative x, or negative 1x, plus 2. Okay? How easy was that? So, Now you know how to find the equation of a line when you're given the graph. I want to try now using y equals mx plus b to graph functions easily. Okay, so now we're going to have a try graphing y equals 4x minus 4. Now we can use this form y equals mx plus b to do that easily, because we know that the number by itself is the y-intercept, and the number in front of x, in this case 4, is the x-intercept. Okay, so here's what we do. When we're given the equation, we want to graph it. So if it's in the form y equals mx plus b, this one clearly is, first thing that we do is mark the y-intercept. Okay, so the y-intercept in this case, because there's a minus here, it's not 4. We take the whole thing, it's actually minus 4. So the y-intercept is down here. Secondly, we use gradient, which is m, to find a second point. Okay, so we use the fact that m is the rise over the run. So here, m, the gradient, as we know, is 4. So m equals 4, but that's also the same as 4 over 1. So what that means is the run is 1 and the rise is 4. So I go from the y-intercept, I go across 1 because that's the run, and up 4. Okay? So I go across 1 and I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I mark the second point. Okay? Now the thing is here, after we do that, all we need to do is join the points up. And that's because if there are two different points on the Cartesian plane, there's only one line. There's one and only one line that goes through them. So I've got the 2 points marked, so all I do now is join them up. Okay, just like I've done there, alright? I understand my drawing wasn't the best, but all you have to do is join them up with a ruler. You'll be able to use a ruler. I can't use one on my iPad screen. And then put the arrows on. We are done. That line in red is the graph of y equals 4x minus 4. So just be careful. If the gradient is negative, you know it has to lean to the left. So I'm going to just show you quickly how we might graph y equals negative 4x plus 4. Now we're actually going to use the same steps as over here. So first off, we mark the y-intercept. So the y-intercept of this isn't down here at negative 4. It's actually up here at positive 4. So just make sure you get that the right way around. Now gradient of negative 4, so m is negative 4, so that means we have 4 over 1. So we have rise is 4, the run is 1, but remember, here it has to be negative, so negative rise means we go down 4. So the only difference between this example and the one I just did was that in this case, instead of going across 1 and up 4, we actually need to go across 1 and down 4, because that's what a negative gradient means. So we've marked out the y-intercept, so we've done our first step. Now we're going to use m to find a second point. So the run is 1, so we go across 1, and instead of going up, we go 1, 2, 3, 4 down. So actually they both go through this point. So that's the second thing done. Now all I need to do is join the 2 points. Okay, easy as you like. The points are drawn, so that line in purple is y equals minus 4x plus 4. So graphing is a lot easier. Finding the equation of a line is a lot easier if we have it in the form y equals mx plus b. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Have a wonderful day.